We are live again for number 3 of episode 21.
Oh, we're live again right now?
So they're trying to shut us down right now. It's a big conspiracy behind all this. The patriarch is going to shut down our Facebook Live. It's a conspiracy, I'm telling you. But we're not going to stop. We're just going to keep on going, no matter what.
I think the second video we had didn't even post.
The second video we have might have not posted, but
I don't think it posted.
whatever. Regardless of, we're here right now. We're having fun. This is it.
I think we were, dude. I think we were.
We are live again.
It says your video is not posted. It looks like it contains music, audio.
Oh, you click on it.
It belongs to something else.
Doesn't matter. It's
Don't
it's
say
an
that out
automatic.
loud.
It's an automatic system. You just gotta click on it. It doesn't mean you're doing anything. Just click it. Go down.
The video belongs to
Post video.
Dude, that's...
No, it doesn't matter.
We're infringing
No,
shit.
you're not. No, you're not.
Can you just say for the camera, I had nothing to do with this. Neil has made me accept things. I have no copyright value for the song Pillow Talk by Lil
thing. I didn't sign a thing.
Yeah, sure
I made them both sign waivers that said that if they get in trouble, it's their fault. Anyways,
doesn't do with we're talking to ourselves.
so all right, that's NBA. We're talking about Cleveland and Golden State. My last thing I wanted to get into, I want to predict who's going to win the entire NBA championship. And I got
North Carolina, that's who.
I got the Spurs. I got the Spurs beating Chicago Bulls in the NBA championship.
The Bulls.
Yep, I got it. That's my pick. Jimmy Butler. There he is right there.
Right now.
Jimmy Butler.
Willing to put a wager on that?
No, I'm not. Not at
I'll
all.
put a wager on that. You think that Chicago is going to win this series? Man, I can't even continue what I'm going to say.
Listen, I'm just trying to spark a debate, that's all.
Yeah, well, I have nothing to debate. Chicago has to win this series first. They're the 8th seed in the East.
They were 7-3. They were 14-7 in their last 24 games.
I don't know, dude. Not going to happen. I see Cleveland, Toronto.
They ended up the season very hot. Yo, that was classic right there.
No!
Oh yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm glad you guys are using my buttons that I got. You know, that's what they're for.
Yeah, well, that's for you.
When you want to dispute something from me, you're supposed to grab the mic and just click it.
N-O.
That's our no button.
Yeah, where'd you get that fart?
I don't know, just right here.
It's the best possible one.
Oh, it's right there. Look at the thing.
The fart was the best one ever. You got lucky, dude. It was perfect. Hey, what do you think about that?
Caesar, what do you think about that? See him in the corner. See Caesar right there? Caesar, what do you think about that?
Hey, look at his face, dude.
Here, take the microphone for a second. Come here.
Can I do a mic drop?
Let me see this thing. All right, so NBA playoffs, we're going to move on from that. What do we
got a prediction who you think's going to win?
I think it's going to be Cleveland versus Golden State. Golden State wins it.
So we got NFL draft or NHL playoffs. Which one do you want to do first?
What'd you say?
NFL draft or NBA
No, I
playoffs?
was talking to Caesar. I would. I don't know. I mean, the NHL second round of the draft of the playoffs is starting now. It started tonight. Who do we got going here? I know Washington and Pittsburgh. That is the series right there. Whoever wins that, I think, is going to win the Stanley Cup. I think Pittsburgh is going to win it, and I think Anaheim would be the team. They have to beat Edmonton, who's a good team, and they're a bunch of young guys. But
Avery Bradley's got 22 points right now, more than Wade and Thomas.
really,
Yeah.
here.
So we're watching the game right now, the Bulls and the Celtics. Avery Bradley, right? Oh, Marcus Smart just drained one. Marcus Smart off the bench. You know, who remembers when Marcus Smart punched a fan in the face in college? You remember that, Chris? Yeah, that was insane. It was like down in SportsCenter for like a week straight. Oh yeah, he got suspended for that. But yeah, Marcus Smart is out there. I almost said Brooke Lopez. That's his brother, right? Robin Lopez just drained a nice little 2 right there. Marcus Smart taking the. Avery Bradley has the most points in this game right now. I like Avery Bradley. He's one of those unsung heroes of the Celtics.
For sure. He was doing his thing back when wasn't it the big 3 were there? He was there.
Avery Bradley?
Yeah, he killed it like a couple years ago.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. He's been a pretty prominent player on that team for a little while now. He's one of the faces of the team.
Who are you guys talking about?
Avery Bradley on the Celtics.
Oh, let's talk NFL draft. You guys are going to talk on.
Well, first, before we get into the NFL draft, I want to discuss this hockey. So we're starting the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Nashville swept Chicago.
So great.
Insane. Nobody predicted this.
I hate the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm just sick of them. I'm sick of bandwagon teams. I'm sick of people rooting for bandwagon. They don't even like them. Next year, like, Chicago Blackhawks, I got a Kane jersey. Like, fuck the Blackhawks. Let's get them out. Jonathan Toews, I'm done with those guys. Let's move on. Watch. Nashville's going to win another series, and everyone's going to be Nashville fans. But I'm glad to see that Nashville took them with a sweep because, like, nobody saw that coming. They were swept them. Swept them.
A wild card team. A wild card 2 team. The last team to make it in. So the second wild card team plays the number 1 seed, and they swept them. I love Monster.
It's disgusting, dude. It's like it's like piss.
So,
Sweet piss.
so about that though, so Nashville is going to play St. Louis in round 2. The Ducks go on to play against the Oilers.
Edmonton, that's a sweet.
That's going to be a series right there. The Rangers, the wild card Rangers just beat Montreal and are going to play against the number 2 seed Ottawa Senators, and then we got the Capitals against their rival Penguins.
Is this what men resort to be able to hang with their homies without their girls? LOL.
I guess you're right. I guess she's got a point there.
Yeah. Just yes.
So I'm just gonna give one answer to that. Yes, your answer is yes.
Karen Baker. The
Karen
answer
Baker.
To your question is yes. I guess so.
Thanks for joining, Karen, as well.
Playoff time.
I'm getting yelled at right now, actually, for being here. So
Yeah. It's playoff time.
We
now,
got
you know?
we got Caesar here with the commercials. So yeah, we got that Washington. What do you think's gonna happen between Washington and Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's going to win. They always beat Washington.
They do. They always usually beat Washington, but I got Washington this year all day.
So my 2 teams that I see going to the finals will be Pittsburgh and Anaheim. I'd love to see Edmonton beat Anaheim. They fucking took out San Jose, which was amazing. I just don't see it happening. Anaheim is the best team in the West.
All right, that could happen. What's your prediction for the entire Stanley Cup playoffs?
I said, I think the Capitals are going to lose. Whoever wins that game is going to make it to the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's irrelevant who's going to happen between the Rangers and Ottawa. So I think Pittsburgh is going to make it for the East. And then I think Anaheim will win it in the West. And then Pittsburgh will win the whole thing.
I haven't watched hockey since the Sabres let Briere go.
Wow, I'm almost
though.
with you on that.
I'm almost like,
What was it? McKee, Briere, and
Chris
Drury. That was it. That's the last time I watched the Sabres.
Answer your woman
Sorry,
so
bruh.
she stops distracting you. LOL. Okay.
All right, so
Good advice.
so let's get into. We got the draft. The draft's coming up tomorrow. All right, so I wanted to talk about this draft.
Thank
So-
you, Karen.
So before we get into anything about the draft, I want to show some. So a lot of people are saying the Bills need to either get a wide receiver or a cornerback, which I'm fine with either or because we're very thin at both. Me personally,
Before you do that, Mitchell Trubisky, overrated, underrated?
overrated.
Overrated. Why?
I just, you know what? To be completely honest, I haven't really watched that much of him, so I can't just say he's. You know, I trust the scouts. I trust the scouts.
What?
Regular season games.
I
I saw the film on the kid. The film is unreal, but there isn't enough film. I personally, I don't know. I personally, I don't know. I think he's overrated too. And
Yeah, that's what I say. I just don't think he's going to step right up in right away and be like the starters today in the NFL.
that's what they want him to do.
Right. That's exactly why he's going to be the
Gets
first.
him. What team gets him?
isn't he projected to go to?
There's a lot of teams.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I don't even know. To be honest,
I think Cleveland. I think what's going to happen.
well, Cleveland's going to get my. They already
Here's
set.
my prediction because the draft's tomorrow, and I want you to be like, "Wow, he was actually right. He's really smart, and he's really good looking." So, here's what I think. Yeah, yes. So what I think is going to happen is Cleveland. They have the first overall pick.
Yes.
So I think you should go for the best available player. Best player.
They already announced today.
Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett's the best player.
Can I say something real quick? They already announced today that they're going to get Myles Garrett. They said that they just said San Francisco is on the clock. Those were the words from the general manager from Cleveland, Scott.
I don't know. What's that?
The general manager from Cleveland announced today that they have the number 1 overall pick. They already want Myles Garrett, and that San Francisco is officially on the clock.
Wow.
They said that today.
I did not know.
Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear that.
Well, I mean,
Myles
there's
Garrett.
no shock
Myles
there.
Garrett is going to the Browns.
There's no shock there because when you're Cleveland, when you need, there's so many positions that they need to fill that like in the draft, okay, like in the draft, what you usually do as a team is you look for the best available player for what you need to fit your team. Cleveland needs everything, literally. So they're gonna have to pick Myles Garrett. Now, what I think is gonna happen is they're gonna trade with Tennessee. Tennessee doesn't need to be where they're at. There's a lot of depth in the draft. And I don't see them picking. I think they're like 4th or 5th. And I think they could trade with Cleveland. And if they do, I think Cleveland will end up taking Mitch Trubisky too, and be the face of the Cleveland Browns, and then have a horrible career. And then the Browns go through 5 more quarterbacks, and then they end up having Brock Osweiler is your quarterback, and Brock Osweiler is gonna just suck, and the Browns are gonna suck.
I got something else.
But they might win more games.
So, okay, so San Francisco has the 2nd overall pick, right? Now, San Fran has the 2nd overall pick. Now, word on the street, I read this in USA Today paper, is that did I say street? I'm at street. So word on the street is that the Carolina Panthers want a running back, and they want the best running back available. They have the 8th overall pick. They can either sit back and wait and get McCaffrey, or they can trade up their 8th overall pick plus next year's 1st-round pick to 2nd.
I have to say something real quick. Clemson does not win the national championship if Scarborough didn't break his leg. Okay? He was running it down their throats, and then he broke his leg in the national championship. Just throwing that out there. I had to say it.
That's probably true. I mean, that was a
Bama, roll Tide.
So,
I'm not a Bama fan either.
so I wanted to bring this up about the trading up to get a running
One more
back.
question though.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, overrated, underrated?
No, I think he's right where he's supposed to be.
Right where he's supposed
I
to
think
be?
he's going to be because the game is changing and quarterbacks are now multifaceted.
Best running back in the draft.
Leonard Fournette.
I don't think so.
Leonard. Okay, here's how I rate. I'm glad you brought up Cook. You have to at least bring up Cook in the conversation. The way he can play receiver. He can put him in the slot. He reminds me of like a Darren Sproles type running back. But as far as like just no, I'm not his size. I'm talking about ability. The way his cutting. Sproles is small as hell. I'm not talking about his size, but as far as his gameplay, his ability as a receiver, and as an agile running back, I give that to Delvin Cook all day. I think McCaffrey is the best well-rounded
That's
running
my
back,
favorite running back.
but
Have a good year last
just as far
film, dude.
2 years ago. He broke Barry Sanders' record 2 years ago.
right. But here's the thing: Leonard Fournette, pound for pound, just running the ball, just hand it off to him and let him. He's better than any running back in the draft by far. Especially for his size, but his size speed comparison is unreal. So
Beats up his girl.
I just want to throw that out there. But if I'm the Carolina Panthers, though, I'm not going to trade up. I'm not going to trade my 8th overall pick and my next year's 1st-round pick for a running back. I don't care how good Leonard Fournette is. He's not worth that.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch.
Stretch. That's if you think it was bad that Sammy Watkins that we traded up 2 first-round picks for Sammy Watkins, then Leonard Fournette is absolutely
Not all of
retarded.
them like that boy Tom Brady.
So let's get into let's get into some
And,
Buffalo Bills.
By the way, Amendola took a pay cut to stay with the Patriots.
Smart.
Yeah,
You know why he
yeah.
did that? I'll tell you why he did that.
Because his role,
He's been counting to 6.
he's a role guy.
Here's why. So let me. I don't give a shit. That's Amendola's career. Now let me tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to explain to you why Amendola took a pay cut. Amendola took a pay cut because no one's going to pay him. Number one. Number two is if he takes the pay cut and stays for the Patriots and somehow plays on a team where Tom Brady makes him look like he's actually relevant again, he might be able to get more money from another team. The Patriots are not going to keep him around too much longer if he keeps playing the way he played. Great in like the postseason
Plus,
2
Chris
years
Hogan
ago.
is making a presence known, dude.
Well, it's not even just Chris Hogan. I mean,
a lot of the receivers.
they got Brandon Cooks now. They
right.
got
Brandon Cooks
Julian
is gonna take
Edelman,
over that receiving corps.
Chris
right.
Hogan. Amendola was there for a role that he didn't fill his position. He was supposed to be there for a reason.
Right.
Wes Welker left. Amendola was the guy. Edelman has been on the team for a long time.
Yeah.
They saw this guy and was like, all right, Edelman took the role. You know,
Yeah,
so
you're right.
he doesn't deserve the money. He doesn't, and it would be smart for him to stay for the Patriots because he might get more money off.
And I also want to add to that.
He's a bum.
Let's not forget
Made out of
Amendola.
peanut brittle.
Let's not forget exactly. Amendola had some injury concerns. Now, if he stays with the Patriots and keeps his role limited to what he is now, there's less of a chance of him getting another concussion or getting injured again because he's not playing as many snaps. So I think for him, he's looking at the long-term aspect of this, how he can keep his career longer, make more money in the long run, rather than going to a team that needs a receiver and where he can get.
He did it for the ring, guys. That's it.
And that
The
could be
only
true.
reason.
That could be 100%
He
true.
took a pay cut last year.
Because no one's gonna pay him.
Right.
No one's gonna. Pay
He's
him.
not. He's not a receiver
Let's pay
that
a
he's a
guy
one
made out of
trick
peanut
pony.
brittle who has not performed at all. He's made of glass. He had a good playoffs. He had a couple good playoffs. But the thing is,
Remember how good he was with St. Louis?
he was great in St. Louis, but he had the exact same issue. He could not stay healthy. He just couldn't do
No,
it.
he couldn't make it through a season at all, and that's exactly why I think he's staying
Who
with
do
the
Bills
Patriots.
pick at 10.
All right, so I wanted to get into the Bills. The Bills are picking
How many rings do the Patriots have?
a lot.
Fuck you.
All right, so the Bills are picking 10th overall. Me personally, first of all, I want to run down what USA Today had their top 5 concerns for the Bills, where they should draft. First round, they said cornerback. Second round, wide receiver. Third round, they said right tackle. But then they said fourth round safety, which personally, I would switch those two. I would get a safety in the third round. And here's why. We lost Aaron Williams, Duke Williams, and Corey Graham, all gone. We picked up Micah Hyde, but we don't have a clear-cut starter for the strong, or maybe the free safety position. I think Micah Hyde might be a strong safety. So I think we do need a safety, as well as we need a corner more than anything.
Did Aaron Williams retire?
The Bills,
No, he should, though.
I think he is going to retire. But listen. The Bills lost Stephon Gilmore, and they lost their number 3 corner, Nicole Roby-Coleman. They didn't replace these guys with anybody. So if there's some clear-cut needs for the Bills in this draft.
definitely
They
is.
need 2 corners, a safety. They need 2 wide receivers at least. I think you're going to see a lot of heavy at defensive back and wide receiver. You're going to see a heavy draft for the Bills. So I would take a corner first round, wide receiver second round, safety third round, right tackle fourth round, and then maybe go back to wide receiver in the 5th round before I even touch linebacker or anything. But here's the big thing, though. The Bills brought in Chad Kelly, the nephew of Jim Kelly, to talk to him and discuss maybe him playing for the team. His draft report is so bad. 2 years ago, he was the number 1 prospect as a quarterback.
Best quarterback in the SWC.
And
No one's better.
Then he got in trouble a couple years. He was playing for Clemson, right? Yeah. So Chad Kelly started off with Clemson, and what'd you do? That's all right. So Chad Kelly started off with Clemson, and he got in trouble downtown. He got into a fight. Clemson kicked him off the team. Then he went to Ole Miss. He was still a good player, and he still was a prospect.
He beat Alabama.
But then his injury concerns started popping up. So now his draft report says this guy's a troublemaker, and he's injury prone. Nobody wants him. He's projected to go anywhere between the 5th or undrafted.
Probably undrafted.
So that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are saying he might go undrafted. Now, the Bills, if I'm the Bills,
He's too good to go undrafted.
that's what I'm saying. I think he's the Derek Carr of this year's draft.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr was a guy who Derek Carr was a guy who they didn't know where he was going to fall in the draft. Some people thought he might go undrafted. But
No.
yes, Derek Carr was not projected to be high in the draft. The Raiders jumped on him before anyone else did,
No.
and he turned out to be their starter.
No, Derek Carr was almost a first-round draft pick. He wasn't. No, I know he wasn't. He was a second-round draft pick.
He wasn't supposed to be, though.
Yes, he was.
Wow, I'll show you. I'll show you draft report right now.
I'm telling you right now, Derek Carr is not a good example of that.
Well, no,
Fanaki's in here.
Listen,
Fanaki's
the reason why I'm not saying the reason why I'm using him as an example is because Derek Carr turned out to be better than anyone ever thought, especially how fast it was. They didn't think he was going to be a starter, let alone that quick.
Fucking break again?
No, it didn't. So
Frozen?
I think what happens when you go away